that we could sell it. And so we went back to them. They had the environmental reports done, but we stopped work before any type of final product was put together. And so we basically authorized them to put that product in a summary form so the package could be prepared to sell to a potential buyer.
Who authorizes the spending?
That was done, Mayor, I'd have to say back.
Well, it was prior to the appeal being denied. Those were all expenses incurred prior to the appeal. Once the appeal was denied, we stopped all expenses.
But they changed their scope of work after the appeal?
No. When we stopped work, they stopped work.
Okay.
We stopped all the consultants' work. In order for them to sell, in order for us to get their product in a sellable mode, that had to be summarized and the report had to be written. And that's what we asked them to do. And that's the cost associated with putting that product in a form, in a summary form that it could be sold.
Okay. When it goes to spending the money, would that go towards C Corporation or the City Council? The appropriation of it?
Well, it would have gone for the C Corp at that time.
Okay. And so that was it. That's in the C Corp meetings. The approval of 9,000 or 7,700.
I'm gonna have to go back and look. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I do know that that's how that expenditure came about. That we asked the consultants to put the products in a workable form, and I'm almost sure that this was discussed at the last meeting we had with the C Corp. But that's what our goal was to get the products in a form, in a summary form, so that we could sell the product. Because without it, the environmental work is useless to anybody unless you can actually show them the summary results.
Okay. One question I have is that I've received on the courtesy copy here. Greta is not on the board anymore, so you know why weren't we given this as members of the C Corporation board?
I don't know what you're referring to, Alderman.
Right here. Slide. The report.
6 months before the...
Yeah.
We've been submitting those reports. The C Corp and the staff has been submitting those reports all along, Alderman. This is the first time you've asked to have a copy of that.
It just seems to me like this is a sensitive project. You know, we've lost millions of dollars. The city council, through our actions and through our words, have asked to be kept informed, and to have some information that we might want to know about go before the press first and not be given to us is a little troubling to me. And I'm requesting that if there's something that comes across your desk that you think that we might need to know about, that you go ahead and forward it, because an email is very simple to do. This is the third time that I've, with a project, as an alderman, that I've had to find out information through the press first and haven't been informed of. And I think when you put yourself in my shoes, you can see how troubling that would be. So I'm asking, because I don't want this to happen again, that we have to find out something from the press first. So just please keep that in mind for all future communications. Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Alderman Moore?
Not now.
Anybody else on Muscle?
Can you give us some dates on like the time frame of what we're looking at to get out from underneath this whole? I know it's a big, broad question, but you know, I didn't choose to be on this board. I didn't vote.
I think it depends upon coastal. I mean, that's why we're, you know, we believe that they have keen interest in this, as Joe was explaining. But our time's going to run out.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the absolute time for 24 and 25 is going to run out on April the 30th, because those permits are going to expire automatically then. And I think we can see if the city does not apply for new permits, and again, Coastal's been told that the city's not going to apply for those new permits unless the city council agrees to a contract or a partnership agreement with Coastal. That's why they need to get their act together and get a proposal here for you all to take a look at and see if it's something you want to buy into. But midnight on April the 30th, we can expect probably about a half a dozen permit applications are all going to be filed electronically at the same time. Probably led by Hydro Green Energy, which has got the permit now for 21, and also for 20 and 22 north of here. Other municipalities may be interested in that, other private entities interested in that. So coastal is basically, they're on their own. They're subject to the coin toss if that happens too, and who knows where that's going to end up. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see, to read in the paper about the problems down at Lake of the Ozarks at FERC. That's just, you know, what we all here can, we all have we're ahead of the curve on that to see how they kind of operate to a certain extent. And that's probably going to be another example. We'll see a coin toss there if the municipality doesn't try to apply for those permits there. So that's the do or die date for 24 and 25. Reasonably speaking, if they got a go ahead from FERC and a meeting last week, it will take them 60 days to put together or gather the rest of the information they need to actually present a plausible, viable contract to the city, that where it's going to show you're going to cash flow it, you know, what the expenses are, what all is going to be involved, what the construction estimates are. So that's going to take us probably into maybe sometime in the middle of January, which is why we're told them, you know what, you need to get something here, you need to get the finished product here by February the 1st, because otherwise you all are not going to have time to really do any kind of meaningful discussion about it or think about it too. I mean, they've just lost their chance at that point. If they need to know, you know, we haven't set a deadline yet, but I mean, they need to tell us sooner if they're interested in any of the 21 work product at that point. Because if there are some items they might be able to use, most of it not, but it's more of a courtesy to them to just ask them first. If they say no, or they don't want to purchase enough to really make it worthwhile too, then probably the solicitations will go out to everybody else on kind of a 30-day cycle. So say we send that, we give them a deadline of November, the end of this month, November the 30th, to tell us on that. Maybe another 30 days or 45 days to solicit others and get a response back in. We ought to know just about February the 1st on what's happening with the 21st project and number 21 project. That's kind of like the best timetable I can give everybody at this point.
My only concern is that, you know, I walk through my ward and have people calling me in my ward because their streets can't be fixed and we're lost in this big mess with this amount of money and everything. I'm to the point where it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth. This whole hydro thing, I don't feel like we've been told everything. And I'm going to echo what Alderman Moore said. Really want to be kept up to date. And if it's micromanaging, it's micromanaging. But we've got a lot of money out there. We've got a lot of needs in infrastructure, and I'd like to see it being taken care of. So I appreciate your work and your help, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this soon.
Well, and Alderman, I make a point of telling people something when I got something to report, but I don't think you want me just appearing here or sending you a bill when there's really no progress yet too. I mean, some of the it took 4 years to get to this point too. It's going to take a few months to get out of it to the extent that we can too. So I mean, I appreciate your concern too, because that's a lot of money to be tied up in this project. But and unfortunately, it's going to take time to line up, you know, people that you know, this stuff is valuable for, and to get a commitment from them. But I mean, I know the mayor's got the same incentive to get this thing done as quickly as possible. So
Sure.
some of that's out of our control.
Even that report, I mean, cleaners paid for that report. We didn't pay for that report. Thank you. Alderman Hine.
As a new member of council, I'm reading this letter, and to me it sounds like in the next 6 months that certain things have to get done, unless I'm not reading this letter correctly. And if things have to get done, who's paying for this stuff to get done in the next 6 months?
Coastal Hydropower.
Then why are we as a city signing this letter?
Because we still own the permit.
We have a permit.
But somebody else is doing the work, free of
Yes.
charge.
Correct.
No charge to us.
That's correct.
Okay.
And believe it or not, some people would believe this now, but FERC doesn't care who does it. We talked about this before. They don't care where you get the project. You can go out and steal it. They don't care. As long as you can say somebody's doing something on the project, and you want to take credit for it. That satisfies their requirement.
Even as Councilor made mention of Hydro Green, they failed to produce their 6-month reports. They still owe the permits. All right.
That was my question. Has Hydro Green been officially approached and offered to buy 21?
Joe can speak to that. I mean, we thought
they're number 2 on the list. I mean, they've got the
Whose list? Our list? Or?
Yes, our list for people to approach is because they have the permit. This would be most valuable to them.
Yeah.
Not necessarily all of it, because they have at least stated publicly they are going to use a different kind of turbine technology than what the Canadian company uses that we were going to purchase
For the
from.
past 6 months, did we offer it to them? And what was their response?
No, we've not offered it.
Not offered.
No.
And we're waiting for...
Well, we didn't know if they were going to, first of all, we didn't know they were going to get the permit.
They just got
it. They just got the permit,
They
too.
just got the 21. 20 and 22 they've had since we released those.
But they're Coastal, to be honest, if Coastal has no interest, then Hydro Green is the second on the list, too. If they are not interested, or not interested enough, or not willing to pay enough, then there are a group of about 30 different prospects. The good thing here is the shelf life of what we've got is in excess of 3 years. So if somebody is interested in this, they can just buy it out, wait for Hydro Green's permit to expire in 3 years, and then take the risk of the coin toss, or just apply for it and get the permit if nobody else applies for it at that time, too.
Alderman Ryan, I think part of that, and I understand where you're coming from, but they just recently got the permit for 21, really within the last several months. So at this point, that Coastal still had the keen interest in this product. We certainly intend on going to them if Coastal decides not to pursue 21 or 25. Alderman Ryan.
Yes. Joe, just to make clear to the public, we get a little lost return on Quincy Lock Dam number 21, where the boats really figuratively sail. I mean, we have a different permit holder. On 24 and 25, we're still the permit holder.
Yes.
Because of that, we can partner with Coastal. So our work, our study, they were going to be our partner on 21,
Yes.
and on 24, 25, we're talking about the same technology. Therefore, we have more intrinsic value, better potential return to recover our, we use the word losses, if you will, for the taxpayer. And that's the key. Coastal is the ideal partner for us, or to become the permit holder with us on 24, 25, correct?
Yes,
Because
that is
it's a great
correct.
spec.
And those 2 projects are actually the most economically viable. I mean, not beyond viable. They will have the potential of being the most, economically lucrative, because they can a much larger number of turbines can be installed at those 2 dams than at Dam 21 here in Quincy. Quincy was about a break-even prospect. The 24 and 25 have the prospect of generating a significant profit for whoever are the owners and the operators at that point, which is why, notwithstanding, I know the council the majority of the council has a concern about making a commitment like that too, but you know what, they might be able to make a presentation to demonstrate there is a significant financial return for partnering with them, especially if they're going to assume all the financial risk of the construction and design too. I mean, it's at least worth, I think,